warm welcome to State of Business on Art Television. I am Savindri Jayawardena. Let's look at the headlines first. Cabinet of Ministers reduces the number of taxes as promised in the election manifesto. 35 state ministers and 3 deputy ministers were appointed to ensure early results from the identified and planned development projects. News in detail. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that value-added tax will be reduced to 8% from 15% with effect from the 1st of December this year, fulfilling one of the promises of the election manifesto by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Prime Minister Rajapaksa made this remark assuming duties at the Ministry of Urban Development this morning. Cabinet of Ministers of the new interim government met for the first time this morning. As the first decision, the Cabinet has decided to reduce the rate of the value-added tax to 8% from 15%. The 2% nation-building tax has also been brought down to zero. The payee tax and withholding tax on interest have also been removed by the Cabinet of Ministers. This was initially announced by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, assuming duties at the Ministry of Urban Development this morning. Meanwhile, the first media briefing to reveal the cabinet decisions was held at the Government Information Department auditorium this evening. Accordingly, co-cabinet spokesman Minister Bandula Gunawardena also explained the media personnel about the government's decision to reduce the VAT to 8% and the nation-building tax to zero. Minister Bandula Gunawardena also said that the Cabinet of Ministers also decided to reduce the 28% high tax which has been imposed on the construction industry to 14%. He further added that the tax on condominiums will be cancelled and all religious places will be exempted from tax. Minister Gunawardena also said that the telecommunication levy will be reduced by 25%. Co-cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathirana also addressed the media. The new state ministers and deputy ministers were sworn in before President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat this morning. Accordingly, 35 state ministers and 3 deputy ministers took oaths before the President today. The Cabinet of Ministers to the new interim government was appointed last Friday. Meanwhile, Minister of Mahawali Development, Agriculture and Trade, Chamal Rajapaksa, took oaths as the State Minister of Defence this morning at the Presidential Secretariat with another 37 new designations. Left-wing politician and nationalist parliamentarian Vasudeva Nanayakara was sworn in as the State Minister of Water Supply. Gamini Lokuge took oath as the State Minister of Urban Development. Mahinda Abewardena is the new State Minister of Irrigation and Rural Development, while S.P. Dissanayake is the new State Minister of Land and Land Development. John Senaviratne was sworn in as the State Minister of Economic and Policy Development, and Mahinda Samarasinghe is the new State Minister of Public Administration and Home Affairs. Subsequently, C.B. Ratnayake took oaths as the State Minister of Railway Services, while Lakshman Yapa Abewardena is the State Minister of Information and Communication Technology. Susantha Punchinilame is the State Minister of Small and Medium Enterprise. Andhra Priyadarshana Yapa is the State Minister of Internal Trade and Consumer Welfare. Susil Premajayantha is the State Minister of International Relations. Priyanka Jayaratne took oath as the State Minister of Indigenous Medicine Services. Post of State Minister of Education Services was given to Ranjit Siambala Pittier, while the post of State Minister of Power was given to Mahindananda Alutgamage. Moreover, Duminda Dissanayake is the State Minister of Youth Affairs. Rohit Abegunawardena is the State Minister of Energy. In the meantime, SLFP General Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara took oaths as the State Minister of Industries, while Lasantha Alagiyawanna was appointed as the State Minister of Public Management and Public Accounts. Kehli Rambukwala took oath as the State Minister of Investment Promotion. Arundika Fernando took oath as the State Minister of Tourism Promotion. Tilanga Sumathipala is the State Minister of Technology and Innovations. Mohan De Silva was appointed as the State Minister of Human Rights and Legal Reforms. Vijitha Berugoda was appointed as the State Minister of Women and Child Affairs. Roshan Ranasinghe is the State Minister of Mahawali Development. State Minister of Export Agriculture was bestowed upon Janaka Vakkumura, while Vidura Vikramanayake was appointed as the State Minister of Agriculture. Shahan Semasinghe is the State Minister of Development Banks and Loan Schemes. State Minister of Ports Development Affairs and State Minister of Transportation Services Management are Kanaka Herath and Dilum Amunagama respectively. Rohan Ratwatta was appointed as the State Minister of Roads Development. Vimalavira Disanayaka is the State Minister of Wildlife Resources. Jayantha Samaravira is the State Minister of Environment. Lastly, Sanath Nishantha Pereira was appointed as the State Minister of Fisheries and Freshwater, while Taraka Balasuriya was appointed as the State Minister of Social Securities. Subsequently, 3 deputy ministers were appointed, and thus Nimal Lanka took oaths as Deputy Minister of Community Empowerment and Estate Infrastructure Development. Kanchana Wijayasekara was appointed as the Deputy Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Finally, Indika Anuruddha took oaths as the Deputy Minister of Public Administration, Home Affairs and Provincial Councils and Local Development. Thus, addressing the ceremony, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa noted that the newly bestowed state ministerial and deputy ministerial appointments are not privileges yet responsibilities. He further highlighted that even though he initially wanted to reduce the number of state minister appointments, it cannot be reduced concerning the enormous number of policies of his election manifesto which require adequate state ministers to accommodate. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya has made statement that United National Front leader Ranil Wickremesinghe should be accepted as the leader of the opposition with new political changes. He also says that the internal issues of the party should be sorted out within the party. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya, making a statement after the presidential elections, says he recognizes the United National Front leader Ranil Wickremesinghe as the leader of the opposition. Jayasuriya, taking to his Twitter account today, said the leader of the National Front for Good Governance has been recognized as leader of the opposition in line with established parliamentary traditions. Meanwhile, General Secretary of the United National Party, Akhila Viraj Karyavasam, last week nominated former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's name for the position of the opposition leader through a letter addressed to Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. However, another letter signed by 40 UNP parliamentarians had also been submitted to Speaker Jayasuriya requesting Sajith Premadasa to be appointed as opposition leader. In his Twitter message, the Speaker also added that it was best that a party's internal disputes are settled from within. Stay tuned for more news after this. Welcome back after the break. High Commissioner for India Taranjit Singh Sandhu stresses that national security should go beyond securing one's physical borders to securing the entire region and world, especially at an age where transnational issues threat the borders. He expressed these views while delivering the Lalit Athulat Mudali Commemoration Freedom Speech on the subject of Indo-Sri Lanka relations for a shared and secured future in Colombo yesterday.
National security goes beyond physical securing of one's own borders. If the region and the world are in turmoil, you will agree with me, we cannot remain safe. In this era of internet and cyberspace, actual location of individuals hardly matters. Ideas and ideologies travel at the click of a mouse beyond borders on a real-time basis. Call it by any numericals, 9/11 or 26/11 or 21/4. These terror attacks all have one thing in common. It is not just against a particular country. These are attacks against humanity. The jihadi terror ideology is a threat not just to India or to Sri Lanka. It's a threat to the entire world.
Speaking further, Indian High Commissioner Taranjit Singh Sandhu went on to explain about the developments of the India-Sri Lanka trade relationship and pertaining to future prospects. He also noted that both countries should effectively make use of the high young populations.
Let me briefly touch upon our development partnership. All our projects in Sri Lanka have a direct impact on the lives of common people, whether it is the restoration of railway lines, connecting north to south, or the rollout of emergency ambulance service all across Sri Lanka, or providing clean drinking water to around 65,000 families in Dambula, or providing livelihood support to as many as 70,000 people from fishing and farming communities in Hambantota, or construction of the largest university auditorium in Sri Lanka in the University of Ruhana. All our projects have made a difference to the lives of people in Sri Lanka. Where do we go from here? Education is an investment in our own future. When I see the youth of today, I am filled with a deep sense of optimism. Both India and Sri Lanka are ancient civilizations, but also nations of youth. You will be amazed to note that the average age in India today is 28 years. In Sri Lanka, it's 33 years. Countries of substantial young population cannot afford to dream small. India and Sri Lanka have to dream big.
DIG Priyantha Jayakodi says all the sexual bribery cases reported to the Bribery and Corruption Commission from 2010 are reported from rural regions, and most females are hesitant to complain on sexual bribery due to social stigma and legal complications.
According to my statistics, from year 2010 up to 2019, there are 13 cases reported only to the Bribery and Corruption Commission, which is the only organization empowered to handle bribery and corruption in this country. No any other organization except Bribery and Corruption Commission. For this commission, they have received 13 complaints. Out of 13, they conducted 9 successful detections. From year 2010 onward, these cases are reported out of Western Province. Most of the cases are reported in rural areas like Wayamba, like Central, like North Central, and not from the North and East. These all, the 9 cases which they conducted as a successful detection, all reported within these provinces, not from the Western or not from the North and East. That means it doesn't mean that the things are not happening in those places. The main issue is we have a lot of dark figures in this subject, because with the current social and the cultural barriers, women are reluctant to come forward and make a complaint.
The latest edition of Kia vehicles, new 2020 Kia Niro, was unveiled in Colombo yesterday by Kia Motors Lanka Limited. All new 2020 Niro has 141 horsepower, 0 to 96 km per hour in 8.6 seconds, a Guinness Book verified 32.5 km per litre of 95 octane gasoline, and carbon dioxide emissions of 88 grams per kilometre. The Kia Niro offers the practicality and curbside appeal of a spacious SUV with the high fuel efficiency of an advanced hybrid powertrain. A 1.6-litre gasoline direct injection engine is combined with Kia's characteristic cool and athletic design to offer real-world utility. The Niro is backed by a warranty of 5 years or 150,000 kilometers.
After 1.5 years, we've been able to bring a new model to Sri Lanka, and that too, the Kia Hybrid, which is a Niro, the first hybrid model to the Sri Lanka market, purely because the whole world is moving forward with environmentally friendly cars. And we've had the Niro out for a couple of years now, but unfortunately, because of our fuel standards and the emission control requirements, we couldn't introduce it. But now with the Euro 4 standards being upped in Sri Lanka, our principals Kia have obviously agreed, and I'm pleased that we've been able to get the car down for the Sri Lanka market. And I'm sure because of its pure hybrid system, where the gearbox in fact is driven by an electric motor and the engine itself in alternate methods, you will have absolute true hybrid energy efficiency and very good fuel consumption.
Stay tuned for stock updates after this break. Welcome back after the break. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a positive note today. The all share price index gained 24.02 points to close at 6,118.87 and the S&P SL20 gained 10.14 points to close at 3,021.24. The turnover was 1.2 billion rupees and over 72 million shares were traded. Up next are forex trades. That's all news for today. Do join us tomorrow with State of Business. Until then, take care.